Good evening. Welcome to the ShadowTrader Video Weekly for Sunday, February 21st, 2010. Shortened week this past week. Obviously, the resistance at the trend line here that we expected to happen didn't. However, it's okay because those of you that follow the ShadowTrader Pro Swing Trader newsletter know that we've been long all through this, which is cool. We even though we were saying this feels like another leg lower in prior videos, once we saw that it wasn't, which was very, very quickly here at the end of last week. This was a shortened week. It's only 4 days here. Once we saw that it wasn't towards the end of last week, we just changed our tune and we started going long. And that's how you have to do it. You got to remember, market is ever changing, and you must be very, very nimble. So right now, what I wanted to show you is, given the rise, I left the Fibonacci retracement from the top of the move here to the downside. Notice that we've come right to the 61.8. This tells me that there will be a little bit of pullback. We do have some resistance here in the S&P as well at the 1110. That's right where we stopped on Friday. It's also coming off of an expiry week, so it's generally bullish into expiry and then pull back after. However, the nature of the pattern right now as we see it does not imply that the pullback would be very deep. We've already gone all the way to 62% of the entire move. The really vicious, heaviest selling was here in this bar, which was the February 4th action. That's all been taken out, and now notice that price action is starting to peak inside of the red bars that started the down move. So as we always say, these moves here will not create any resistance if we move through them. Also now be of note that if I erase this, I'll show you we now have new trend line on the upswing drawn, and that wasn't there before. So now we've established new trend on the upside. So to initiate new longs, I would think this is definitely a high probability area. It's going to tie right in with the 1100 as the trend line extrapolates out. So we'll be looking for that. Other majors pretty much look the same. I don't have the Fibonacci on the Dow, but it looks like it took back at least 61.8 up into the clear area. When I say the clear area, I mean the price void that's here. NASDAQ Composite, very strong as well. And also, let's take a look at Russell. Daily, same situation, even cleaner on the Russell, right? Notice how deep the small caps are into here. And remember that the small caps tend to act as leaders. So this may be a portent of things to come. The market may stay extra strong. Also in the Russell, you're well above these highs here, so you can, it's better than a cup. It's actually moved up all the way through, so you could probably just put a horizontal line here and look for pullback buys to that 50 MA there, okay? We are currently long. Those of you that follow the Swing Trader newsletter, I hope all of you enjoyed the free trial that you got over the last couple of weeks. There was free trial to FX as well. Pairs Trader free trial is coming up starting tomorrow, Monday. If you're watching this video and you're getting it at shadowtrader.net as part of the weekend update, you don't have to do anything to get the free Pairs Trader trial. That's going to be automatic. In that newsletter in the Swing Trader, we're currently long RKT. We had like 5 stocks long off the low here, and we went 4 for 5 on those. That worked well. But currently we've got RKT, which I think is phenomenal. Rock 10. I apologize, I don't have the entry written down next to me, but this is a daily. I believe we've been long for a couple of days from this area. I think it's just under 40, so we're looking good there. Stocks moving up well. There's open space here. Probably go to our target here on the weekly. We're looking for the stock to move up into the $45 area right there. And then we're also long Charles River Labs, which hasn't performed as well, but it's a clear trend line break. Very, very open space to 40, and what I like about this mostly is not only the beautiful cup and handle it's forming, looks like we're going to move up in there, but look at the biotechs. BTK. Tell me this is the most bullish chart of all. So hence we wanted to be long some biotech, because look at this. I mean, the market doesn't look like this, right? We already looked at SPX. SPX is not all the way at the high, but biotech is. Biotech is just breaking right out. So we're in good shape there. We have a few other things on our list. We're going to be looking for long on pullback, because honestly it seems like the market, if again keep going back to that S&P, that it just wants to retest here, possibly to the 1140, or regardless, if there's going to be a pullback early this week, I think the trend line here is at least going to have some sort of a playable bounce. The other thing I want everybody to keep in mind is watch to see if this level here is resolved. This was very key. This is what created a lot of this overhead resistance here. We rallied back up into it, then a huge sell-off as we finally moved below it. So if we put horizontal channels on both that area, notice that we're at the upper end of it. We could easily chop around here, but set an alert or something. If there's a confirmed close on a daily anywhere near the 1120, like in the high teens, to me that's going to be all systems go. There's going to be a lot of short covering, and this whole piece will be taken back. All right. For the coming week, some patterns that I really like are FLIR, just off this low. I know this looks kind of ugly to you. You're thinking, oh, what does he like about this? But look at it here on the weekly. There's prior highs here supporting 50 MA. This is a 200 MA. But what I like about it is when you go into the daily, look at how the washout here. This must have been a report or something. Doesn't really matter what the why was. You want to concentrate on the what, as I always say. But look at the volume. Huge flush out. Gap. Boom. Gigantic volume. Lower the next day. Gigantic volume. Then finally tapering off. All the sellers have left the building right here. See this area here? They're all gone. They're not left. WLP on a pullback, I really like. Look at this weekly chart. Very, very clean. This is well point. Prior high. I have an alert set. I'm going to be looking to pick up the stock around 56. CFN is also interesting. This one goes along. I got two kind of speculative stocks I want to show you that I think are interesting. Look at this Care Fusion. This one's not, I wouldn't call it that speculative, but it's, if you look at the weekly, it's young. So yeah, I guess it's speculative. It's young. It hasn't been trading that long, but I think the pattern is amazing. And this Chinese one here, which is CAGC, is just taken off. So any pullback to the 20 area or possibly into this pocket is going to be sweet, 15 to 20. This probably has low float, I'm guessing, just because of the way it's moving. So you want to be careful. It does trade pretty high volume, but it's definitely a big mover. So you want to have a relatively loose stop there. Something else that's come across my list is Hatteras Financial Corp. This is one of those ginormous dividend payers. The stock's $25 a share and pays a $1.20 dividend currently, which is a 19% yield. That's correct, a 19% yield. Now, you have to be careful with stuff like this because the first inkling that they're going to lower this dividend or not be able to pay it out the next quarter, the stock will probably crater. This is similar to the FLIR that I was looking at that I like because, see the gigantic volume, it's the same thing. For whatever reason, the stock got murdered and there was huge move down here on extremely climactic volume. If I switch to the 60-minute to see if that tail was real, it does appear that it's real. It appears there was some kind of real selling here. So the volume was really, really large. Something plunged the price down to 24 and then it came back. So it feels to me like this should hold in this area. So that's another thing I have on the list. On the weak side, I just want to show you AMED. That's the only thing I really have on the shorts. But given the price action over the last 4, 5, 7, 8 days, I should say more like 8 days, right? I mean, SPX, how many days up have we had here? It's just really been one after the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 days up. Given that, there's not many short patterns out there. One that did come to mind here was AMED, but be aware it's really more of just a counter trend short, as I like to call them, and it really actually already triggered on Thursday, but it may retest and fall back again. But this is a perfect example of how if you can set an alert like a nickel under prior highs, that's 61.75. Here you have a high 61.62, so it went almost as high 10 cents, 61.62, and now backed off here to a low all the way down to 59.53. So not the biggest trade, but if you can scan through enough charts over every single weekend or a few times a week, you can get a bunch of these and play them against these resistance points. All right, so that's all I have for this week. The market is essentially, I don't know, I don't want to say it's bullish again, but it's certainly taken back. Be aware that it's taken back 61.8% of the move down, and the area above us, if we can clear the resistance here, is pretty much open because, as I said earlier, this is not going to resist, and there's probably an enormous amount of people right now who still don't believe this. So when you see the market move closer to 1120, that's when those bears are just going to throw in the towel en masse, hit the button at market to cover shorts, and that's probably going to create a thrust in the markets. You'll see that it's what we call quote unquote going up in chunks. It'll start chunking. It'll just go jump forward. So we shall see. I'm not predicting that, but I'm just saying that that's generally what happens when you have price action like this that sort of surprises everybody all at once. All right? See you guys next week. On behalf of myself and the entire ShadowTrader team here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and of course, as always, for all the good people in Chicago, Illinois, at the one and only Think or Swim, I wish you good trading and good night.